Hello, everybody. I'm the Paradise Engineer. My name is Sylvain Rochon, and I'm here for another episode. This one is kind of exciting to me because I've been talking about this for quite a while, since 2016, and even before that. The concept is for abundance, really. Let's start with Earth here. This is something that's being discussed. It was even discussed several times over the last few months by Elon Musk and some of the tech bros, like the tech magnates. But the possibility that in our future, there's so much abundance that everything becomes a commodity. There's no need for money anymore. And there's very specific reasons that they can see this, and I can see this too, and you can as well. We don't know what this society looks like. We can imagine from science fiction, like the Federation in Star Trek, for example, is a civilization of no money and abundance, where everybody gets to do what they want to do, and there's no. They want food, here's food. They want a home, here's a home. But how does it happen? Well, it happens by a restructuring of the economic and social systems, one where you agree as a society that everybody should have access to these things. But also, more importantly, you have to have a way to make these things very cost effective to bring to everybody, to build for everybody, and have enough resources. So number one, regarding food and lodging, like some of the basic needs, we have and we can produce enough right now for everybody if we eliminate all the waste. And the waste is very human made. It's like in the West, for example, about 30% of food is wasted either at the farm, in the market, or in the home. And that's because we live in a system where we need to have a presentation and people go and buy what they need, and there's always leftovers, they rot, and same with things in a home and whatnot. So there's a lot of wastage that happens in that system because we have enough to buy in. Some countries and some people have very little. They actually export a lot of food to the richer countries because they buy at a premium price, and locally they have the less price. So the farmers sell overseas, and the people in the community has very little to eat. But there's ways to produce food for everybody. And there's enough arable land and science in farming to actually produce enough food if you avoid all that waste. And to avoid all that waste, you require a change in how we distribute goods. And that happens when the productivity of what are the results of our productivity is actually taken over by AI and robotics. But right now, the trade we have, the social contract we have in the economy is that we work, we make money. With the money, we can buy what we need. So it's a trade. It's a trade based on scarcity, on not having enough for everybody. And so people that contribute in some way to the production, either directly or indirectly, are allowed to partake in the production. And this is the dynamics. But now with AI and robotics becoming better than humans at doing productivity, at doing these tasks, we will eventually be out of this type of production job. We'll retain occupations with each other, like the social occupation, creative occupations will still have value in society, but not in producing the goods and services that are basic needs. That can be handled way better by robotics and AI, and they can be hyper effective, which means those goods and products become like commodities, and even less, they become basically costless in time, because the robots and AI that are producing barely cost anything, and they're making massive volume. So the redistribution can happen through these technologies. And if you have that basically for free for everybody, and there's no trade anymore, you're not trading your time for the production because you're not involved in the production at all, not even indirectly. So everybody can you just have to reorganize the way we're thinking. So, well, if nobody's contributing as an individual, everybody, and there's enough for everybody, we just redistribute that to everybody, from mechanical systems to the biological individuals that we are. And then you have a society that essentially has basic needs met. You can even transpose that to luxuries and traveling and other things as well, where that can also become in time a commodity or abundant so much that it's free. So you have no need for money really anymore in time, and that's going to happen really quickly. It's like we're going to feel a lot of that within the next 5 years. Within the next 10 to 15 years, we're going to be in complete transition because there's going to be so many robots, so many AI, and we're going to be in a way of productivity if we even get involved in it. Because we're so ineffective compared to the artificial intelligences that will be taken over. So what does that mean? Well, it means that we are in a shift in our society, shifting in our thinking and how our society works. It means that people that typically would not have a lot would have just as much as people in Europe or anywhere else where it's considered, comfortable. And there's enough to go around for everybody. It also means that we can deal on a more level nature with extraterrestrial civilization that come here, because they've licked that a long time ago. If you're able to cross the stars, you're able to exploit the galaxy at your whim, and there's 1,000,000,000,000 times more resources in the galaxy in your locality than on a single planet. Like just in our solar system, there's so many resources that are typically considered rare on planet Earth, and then you can even imagine. It's crazy. Once we're able to have the technology to effectively access that, the resources on the planet Earth are not worth fighting for. And there's like so much that we don't need it all. We just take what we need, and that's it. It's a completely different mindset. They're in that mindset. They don't need anything. They don't need material. There's so much out there. There's no need to bother anybody about materials, and each individual in their society has everything they may need, because they also have AI and advanced robotics that are basically invisible to them, like workforces that are like independently working for the benefit of the society and themselves, and producing, and it's kind of like Star Trek, magically produce and recombined wherever you need anything very easily. So we're going to be able to talk the same conversation with them, even at our primitive stage, about this. And that means conversations are more about philosophy, psychology, humanity, entertainment. These are the conversations of the future of the next 10, 20 years. And we're going to evolve around that. So as long as we decide as a society to build these systems and reconstruct our economies and societies in accordance with the science that we have, and make sure that everybody has access to all this technological goodness. So we have to work towards that. And I guess that's the point. Thanks for listening.